Today we are in the Grampians wine region, just outside the Garryword National Park. It's not every day that you see a vintage Melbourne tram surrounded by vines. I'm Lee, we're at Black & Ginger Winery, and welcome to the Cellar door. Black & Ginger Winery is nestled in the shadows of the Great Grampians National Park. This region has been a cradle of winemaking for over 150 years. Black & Ginger, however, are the new kid on the block, establishing themselves in 2015. The Great Western region is well known for its cool climate Riesling and peppery Shiraz. On this episode, however, we're taking a different path. We are about to delve into the realm of exploration and experimentation led by winemaker Hayden. Hayden's passion for pushing the boundaries introduces captivating new varieties like Graciano, Grenache, and even a fascinating blend of Gewürztraminer and Shiraz. His relentless curiosity and expertise combine to craft innovative and captivating wines that truly stand out. Let's go and meet Hayden and Lucy. But before we delve into the wine, let's find out more about this stunning location.
To the west, we've got the spectacular Grampians National Park. Over to the north, the Black Range, Sugarloaf Hill, and behind us, One Tree Hill in Ararat, and also Mount Cole and Mount Langy. We've got a little tiny house on top of the hill, which has those 360-degree views, which we rent out as a B&B, and a vintage Melbourne tram, 1956 tram that we're doing up as a second B&B, which is very exciting.
All right, guys, so where do you get your name from?
My last name's Black and business partner's a redhead.
I love it.
Had pages and pages of other names that we were trying to decide on, and that's what we stuck with. The original just rung the best. Like all good ideas, I'm around the campfire with a couple of glasses of wine, and me and Darcy, who's the ginger part, go, wouldn't mind making some wine. And I had no money, and he goes, I wouldn't mind making a wine, but I don't know how. So he paid for some grapes and I made some wine, and I haven't looked back.
Fantastic.
Getting bigger and bigger and expanding the range.
So Hayden, you've got quite an important certification here. Can you tell me about your vineyard?
Yeah, so at the end of 2021, we actually got certified organic. So this little vineyard here is one of only 2 vineyards in the Grampians area that's certified organic.
Beautiful.
Which is great for a sustainable future.
Yeah, that's very special. Congrats.
Thank you. It hasn't been exactly hard work, but it's a lot of paperwork and making sure we don't spray any nasty chemicals out there. So.
Yep. What do we have planted here?
We've got Shiraz and Merlot. So we bought this property established. The vines are about 23 years old, roughly. So they're really coming into a good state of production, higher yields and really good quality fruit. The long-term goal is to plant some alternate varieties, so pull some of the Merlot out, not so popular these days.
Okay.
Although I think it's coming back. I hope it's coming back.
Yes.
Plant some more alternate varieties that are more in line with the Black & Ginger brand. So.
Spanish or Mediterranean varieties, things like Graciano, Nebbiolo, potentially Barbera, some Italian stuff, or some stuff for more warmer climates.
What are we drinking here?
This is our 2022 Lucy's Rosé, named for my lovely wife here. She bugged me for years and years to make a rosé, so I finally did, and said, well, it's getting your name on it then. So this is a blend of Shiraz and Gewürztraminer. So the Gewürztraminer gives it a nice little bit of spice, rose petal, lychee characters to it, but nice Shiraz backbone, lovely sort of strawberry and raspberry characters to it. Amazing on those hot days like it's going to be this afternoon.
Yeah, good place to start. So you are Black & Ginger Winery here, but then what's your property?
So the property's called Hounds Run, and it's named after our lovable hounds. We've got an Irish Wolfhound Hunter and a Greyhound Whippet Wolfhound Cross Paddy. So the name of the property came from
tribute to them.
tribute to them. Yeah.
And is this your cellar door, or where you would like it to be in the future?
Yeah, it's definitely the ideal location.
It definitely is.
We do have plans to build one. At the moment, we don't have one that's available for the public.
Yeah.
We sort of have an idea to build one out of a silo. So sticking with the unique sort of buildings that we have on our properties, tram, tiny houses,
Yeah.
Reusing and recycling.
reusing, recycling, being as sustainable as possible, making off-grid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, creating a space that's got a beautiful view
Yeah.
and an interesting story.
There was something I did want to get you to talk about, which I didn't know, the sustainability that comes with rosé.
There are several ways to make a rosé.
Mhm.
Sometimes it's pressed specifically
Mhm.
for rosé, and in other cases it can actually be runoff juice from a red wine that is otherwise going to go to waste down the drain, and that can quite often create a beautiful, gentle flavour, soft flavour in a rosé.
Yeah.
And it's then reused, I guess, and not wasted.
Fabulous. Great.
This rosé is quite nice, but do you want to come and have a look at some other wines, Lee?
I reckon that sounds pretty good.
See what else we've got.
All right. Cheers.
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 As Black & Ginger doesn't have an official cellar door yet, Hayden and Lucy have offered up their lovely home. Before we get inside, we're greeted by the property's namesakes. We've found the hounds. Now, I know it's not possible to taste your whole range today, but you are doing lots of exciting things. So, Hayden, can you talk us through some of your other wines?
Yep, absolutely. So we do a few, lots now, different interesting things, not just Shiraz, Cabernet, Chardonnay. We try and stay away from that, even though I did make a little bit of Shiraz. The last few years I've tried to expand the range a little bit, doing different things and sourcing different grapes from different areas, not just Great Western. We've gone as far away as Alpine Valleys, it's up near Bright for our Vermentino this year, an Italian varietal. Really crisp, clean, dry white, great for summer nights, fish and chips, perfect. Spent 2 days in the car driving around the state to go and get these grapes and slept in the back of the car, so it had to be called the Gypsy.
Yeah.
Lorelei here, which is a Gewürztraminer, German variety,
Oh.
from the border between Germany and France. So these grapes come from Drumborg, which is down near Portland, down the southwest.
Okay.
Really aromatic, lychee, rose petal kind of characters to it. And then in the reds, so this one here, Cinco Rojo, which means 5 reds in Spanish.
Okay.
So this is a field blend of Grenache, Graciano, Tempranillo, Tintacao and Touriga Nacional.
Wow.
So some of these varieties normally used for making port,
Yeah.
but we've done a field blend, nice just dry red table wine. Really luscious flavours of cola, cherries, really good with, a bit of nice prosciutto and ham before dinner. And then straight Graciano, La Gringa, which means the foreigner.
Yeah.
If you've ever been to Central America or Mexico, and white person walking around, you yell, "Hey, gringo!" So we called it La Gringa, being the feminine version. So all my wines have got sort of feminine names, a bit of a tribute to all the women in our lives, our sisters, our mums, our girlfriends, our wives. A little bit of a tribute to all the women. And then the last one here is Lamante, which means the lover. And this is a Nebbiolo from Pyrenees region, which is just across the other side of the highway from the Grampians area.
Yep.
So Nebbiolo is probably one of my favourite grapes, or is my favourite grape.
Why is that?
Beautiful wines from northern Italy.
Yeah.
It's got lots of character to it, sort of tea, cola characters, really strong tannins.
Okay.
And we can't quite make it as good in Australia yet, but I'm certainly trying. This is a wine that can sit around for a few more years and it's just going to get better and better and develop more and more in the bottle, I think.
So Hayden, it sounds to me like your strategy is quite different. Like you look out to see what is available all over the state, but also potentially maybe what people aren't using anymore, or can you just give us a little bit of insight on how you go about finding the grapes you do?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're more of a virtual winery, I suppose. So while I do have my own vineyard, we buy in most of our grapes for these wines. So I'm always on the lookout, talking to people, whether that's winemakers or growers or other industry people or grape broker, just trying to suss out different things. If it's got a weird and wonderful name, that's the stuff I grab off the shelf in the bottle shop. So trying to find those grapes and doing different things. So I work with a bunch of different growers, some local, some from further afield, and It's all about just talking to as many people as possible. I don't have to commit to making the same wine all the time. If something not working or it doesn't work out one year, I can change it up. If anybody's got weird and wonderful things, you can have a crack at it.
You're a mixologist.
Yeah, try to be. I like to make wines that me and my mates want to drink. You get sick of drinking Shiraz, Chardonnay, Riesling. As good as those wines are, it's nice to
change it up.
A bit, yeah.
I'm ready to change it up. We've got a very interesting blend to try right after the break. We're at Black & Ginger Winery with winemaker Hayden. It's time to get stuck into trying some of Hayden's unique wines. Let's find out what wines Hayden's got for us today.
We've got 3 wines here today to have a look at. So we've got one white, Shiraz and Grenache.
Lovely.
So this white, it's a little bit of a weird one. It's orange, Musket and Riesling.
Ooh.
So normally Musket, people think of sweet, dessert fortified wines. But this Musket we've made in a dry style, so it's not fortified, it's just a dry table wine.
Yep.
Put a little bit of Riesling in there just to give it a little bit of extra acid and bring it back into balance. It's called Miss Piggy. There's a bit of a story behind that maybe we won't go into today.
Oh, I was going to say, do tell.
The first one I made back in 2019 when I first made this wine, we found a frog in the tank. And so I just instantly thought, Miss Piggy.
Good. And an orange Musket, did that,
So the orange Musket itself is really, really aromatic. It's got flavours of fresh cut oranges, orange blossoms, really quite floral, which is why it's called orange Musket. The first time I saw the grapes was when I was working at Best, and they brought it in to put in a sort of a white blend, and just the smell and aromas off this wine, just off the grapes, just being picked, was just absolutely incredible. And then I knew that Best weren't going to take it anymore, so I spoke to the grower directly, and I'm like, how's my chances I can take that? He said, yeah, that's fine. So we locked it in and been making it since 2019.
Very good. All right, I'm going to smell if that's all right.
Yeah. So quite citrusy. There's a little bit of lime character from the Riesling, but that real sort of fragrant orange blossom thing really shines through.
Yeah, nice.
On the palate, a bit of tropical fruit.
Oh, wow.
More oranges, more lemon and lime from the Riesling. A little bit of fruit sweetness there, but nicely balanced with the acid.
Yeah, that's easy.
And beautiful wine with any sort of fish, and seafood, spicy Asian sort of stuff. Garlic prawns was the best thing I think.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that's
Ever ate with
prepared.
this, just on the barbie, with a little bit of garlic butter.
Yep.
Super limited production this year. The tonnages were down a little bit, so we actually only made 30 cases this year. So if you want some, better put your name down. It's become a sort of a cult classic. People are loving this, especially in locals. I've got a lot of people keep ringing me all the time. You got any more? You got any more? Yep, new one's coming out shortly.
I'm loving this unique blend, but if you want to get some Miss Piggy, you better get in quick. Okay, Hayden, what have we got next?
The next we've got here is my Grenache. So I make this one Nouveau style, which means sort of no oak, fresh, fruity, fun, absolute sort of dinner party favourite, this one.
Great. No.
So the grapes for this, as well as the Musket grapes, come off the same vineyard.
Yeah.
A fellow by the name of Paul Dacus, who's got a little vineyard in Great Western. He's also got a bunch of alternate varieties, which is Graciano, Grenache, some Spanish and Portuguese stuff, so Tinto Aritz, Tinto Cayo, and Touriga Nacional. So really suited to warmer climates. So he's planted this vineyard to see what happens with climate change and with things warming up. And they seem to be performing really well.
Beautiful. Is he the only one in the area that's doing that? Is that why you chose him, or do you have a special relationship with him? Or
I used to live in his house, so I knew him pretty well to start with. He was actually a viticulturist for a larger wine company around here, and then he sort of semi-retired from them, and he's already planted his own vineyard before that, but now he's just concentrating on that and his polo horses.
Oh, great. So a good mate.
Yeah.
Nice.
And he grows some great fruit. And, got some interesting stuff instead of just Shiraz and Riesling from around here. So we're trying to work with him, make some different things.
Yeah, lovely.
People seem to be loving.
All right, so what did you say? Fun, fruity and fabulous. Was that this one?
Absolutely.
Okay,
that's a good description. I like that. You can see straight away it's got a beautiful, vibrant colour. Put it in this clear bottle so it shows off its dark, beautiful red colour.
Yeah, I see that now.
Looks even better once you've poured a glass out of it.
It does. All right, so what are we smelling here?
So no oak, so you just got straight fruit on this one. So lots of raspberries, a little bit of red licorice, maybe a touch of chocolate. just really easy drinking. You can even chill this a little bit in summer, on those warmer days.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't want to drink a rosé, stick a bottle of this in the fridge. So it's nice and soft and gentle on the palate.
Yeah.
There's not that real oaky tannin.
No.
It's just lots of raspberry, lots of fun. The first bottle I brought home of this, the first year I made it in 2019,
Yep.
I brought a bottle home. Lucy was still away, and I poured one glass with dinner. By the time she got home, the whole bottle was gone.
You could see through
and
the whole
I only
bottle.
had one glass. Just kept topping it up because it just went down that well.
Yeah, nice.
And this is the 22 vintage, the 21 vintage won Chairman's Trophy at Ballarat Wine Show last year.
Oh, congrats.
So hand-picked trophy, not a class trophy, which was pretty special, I thought.
Yeah, that's nice. So Hayden, when yourself and Lucy bought the property, there was already an established vineyard here, but you said you changed that slightly from the original planting?
Yeah, so it was a little bit run down when we took over, and
Yep.
it was set up more for bulk production. And Grampians is sort of a fine wine region, so we've cut the production down a little bit. We've taken some vines, or parts of some vines out to reduce the quantity a little bit. Makes it a bit easier to manage.
Yep.
And then by getting organic certified as well, less inputs going in, less nasties, so tends to make a better wine in the end, I think, and better for the future.
Yep, definitely. Well, it's tasting very good. Hayden, can you educate me a little bit more about the Grenache variety?
Yep, so Grenache, also called Grenache from Spain, and it's grown pretty widely in the south of France as well, there's sort of warmer climates. There's lots of it around Barossa and Macquarie Vale as well in Australia. It's not widely planted in the Grampians, but there's a few more producers that have been planting some recent years because it seems to work really well. It lends itself to sort of a range of different styles. So in this case, I've made it Nouveau style, so just bottled it, almost as soon as I can out of the press. Because the first year I made it, I tasted it just when I was pressing it. I go, that just looks great by itself.
Yeah.
I just want to share this with people as it is without doing any winemaking tricks, no oak or anything. So it's my take on Beaujolais Nouveau, which is an area in France where they basically bottle 2 months, not even after it's been made. And so it's just fun and good dinner party wine. Grenache can be made in more serious ways as well. So there's a few around here, or it's a really good sort of blending component.
Yep.
Lots of people blend it with Shiraz and Tempranillo or Shiraz and Mourvedre. Just gives an extra little bit of different characters to a wine. But I really like this by itself.
Yeah.
It's great.
It's lovely. Sorry, I'm going to go again.
It's hard not to.
So, Hayden, you say that you don't barrel that.
No.
So what characteristics does that add or take away from the usual Grenache?
Well, this tasted just so fresh and vibrant, and that beautiful raspberry, strawberry kind of characters. I didn't want to detract from that by putting some oak on it. So the oak will give you a bit more savoury characters. It'll build up the tannins a little bit on the finish. And the idea with this was just to make it fresh, fruity, fun, just something to drink and not think about too much. Serious wine drinkers love it. People who are new to wine seem to love it as well.
Yep.
I certainly love it. Might not be my favourite wine in my range, but it's the one I drink the most of.
Okay. Now, your labels, I'm noticing obviously the bottles, all the same label, but different colours. Talk to me about that. Was that your creation?
So when me and Darcy were coming up with the branding, we finally settled on black and ginger, and we went through a bit of our sort of desires and likes and wants and that sort of stuff. And we set up, pretty much grabbed every single wine bottle in the house, whether they were empty, full, whatever. We lined them all up on the table and we're like, what do we like? And we pulled all the ones forward that we like, pushed all the ones to the back that we really didn't like, and we're going, okay, well, what's the sort of common theme here? And we liked the more traditional sort of logos that are just sort of classy. We didn't really like the cutesy picture wines, that sort of thing. So sent off some ideas to a designer friend, and he put this together. So it's sort of modern, but traditional. We're only new, so we wanted to have that little bit of sense of history.
It's nice. It's really eye-catching.
And they stand out pretty well on the shelf too.
We've got one last wine to try that's close to Hayden's heart. We'll see you back after the break.
Whilst filming the Cellar Australia near Ararat, the crew chose to stay at the Barkley Bistro Bar and Accommodation. Our aim is to provide a hospitality alternative to both locals and travellers. Our unique styling, fresh and concise food options, and a bar stocked with local wines, craft beers and great cocktails are sure to impress. We hope our guests leave feeling uplifted after visiting the Barkley. To book your stay at the Barkley Bistro Bar and Accommodation, visit thebarkleyararat.com.au.
Welcome back to the Cellar Australia. We've had some very unique and interesting wines so far. Saving the best for last, it's time for a classic from the region.
All right, Hayden, what are we finishing off with?
So our final wine today, this one's a little bit special to me. So this is my 2021 Shiraz, Lily's Block Shiraz. So it's named after my mum.
Yeah.
So she gave us a huge amount of help setting up the vineyard, or fixing up the vineyard and setting up this house when we moved up here. And then sadly she passed away before she even got to try the first wine in 2017. Made a wine in 17 and put her name on it, and so this is the first one again since 17.
Yeah.
So hence the pink label. The favourite colour was pink.
Gorgeous.
So it's a little tribute to Mum.
Yeah. Oh, sorry to hear that, mate.
So off our own vineyard. So this is organic grown fruit.
Yeah.
100% whole bunch, so it's nice and spicy, a little bit softer. Some older oak barrels. Nothing too crazy, no winemaking tricks. Just good Grampians Shiraz.
Yeah, and now these vines that run in front of the tiny house?
Yes.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah. So they run east-west towards the Grampians.
When you say whole bunch, what does that actually mean?
So instead of doing machine pick, we hand pick all the grapes.
Yep.
And so then you're taking all the stems, and so when we ferment it, we just put all the grapes, all the stems, the whole lot. Doesn't get the stems removed or anything.
Okay.
Just goes all in the fermenter, 100% whole clusters. So you get a nice little bit of spice and savouriness from the stems.
Yeah.
They add sort of, not quite a green character, but a little bit of spice and a little bit more, makes it a little bit more aromatic.
Nice. I never knew where the spice came from. There we go.
Yeah, and also by fermenting in the berries, when they've still got the stems on, they ferment inside the berry, which gives it another little bit of sort of lolly candy character as well. Pretty happy with how this one's came out.
All right.
A little bit of raspberry. This vineyard's got a bit of a sort of blueberry character to it.
Okay.
Maybe a touch of chocolate, a little bit of licorice. Nice sort of ripe tannins on the back. Just beautiful sort of balance.
Love a Shiraz.
It's hard to go past that one.
Yeah. And Lily, is it?
Lily
Your
was my
mum?
mum.
Great. Cheers, Lily.
This one's for her.
Yeah, nice.
What a delicious drop of wine and a lovely nod to Hayden's mum. Before we go, I'd like to know what the future holds for Black and Ginger.
Not exactly sure what new things might pop up for Black and Ginger. The way I work, we kind of speak to different growers and as many people as possible, try and source different interesting things. So this year, yields were down across Great Western Grampians area, so I looked a bit further afield. I found a Vermentino from the Alpine Valleys, which is up near Bright. We've got some stuff from down the southwest of Victoria, down near Drumborg, which is on the way to Portland.
Yep.
I even did a sparkling Lambrusco from near Mildura.
Ooh.
So Black and Ginger is not just Great Western and the Grampians, we're spread across the state.
Do you press local, or where do you do all your pressing?
Yeah, we do all our winemaking here in Great Western. We use a few different have used a few different wineries around the place for the last couple of years. I'll get to build my own one day.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of money to build a winery, so for the moment I'd just rather concentrate on the winemaking and use other people's facilities and make some good wines.
Great. Hayden, we just want to say thank you so much for having us here today, both you and Lucy, for showing what you've got on the property, a tiny house, your tram. It's been fantastic. So we really look forward to seeing what you do in the future.
Thanks
Cheers.
for coming, Lee.
No
Great to meet you.
problem.
Thank you. Cheers.
We've delved deep into the world of Black and Ginger wines today. Hayden's unique and extraordinary wine blends have left me wanting to explore new and different varietals. Before we go, we thought we'd take a quick trip up the road and take in the 360-degree views of this stunning location. So I've made my way up to the tiny house. I've got my bed, I've got my wine, I've got my 360 views of the vineyard, and the vines right outside my door are the exact vines that produce the grapes that go into this very special Shiraz, Lily's. Until next time, cheers.